everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Today is the July subscriber pick. So once again, I want to thank all the subscribers, all those who have voted on this month's subscriber pick. This video will be all about Simplicity 8889. It's actually a hacking pattern. It gives you a base and then you can kind of choose what style variation you want to do. I will say out the gate throughout the pattern, this is one of those patterns. This is my first time working with one of the hacking patterns by Simplicity, and so I'm not sure if they're all like this, but I found the instructions more hand holding than I've seen normally in commercial patterns, which for somebody who is new to sewing is really good. So if you're a beginner, I do highly suggest picking this up, because it does also walk you through how to do some of the hacks, maybe give you some suggestions, different things of that nature. And so yeah, let's go ahead and dive in. But first, make sure you head on over to the community tab, because I have put up August subscriber pick selection. And so yeah, you want to make sure you jump on over to the community tab and vote for the pattern that I focus on in the month of August. And remember, this quarter is all about Simplicity patterns. I am rounding the block and I'm going back to the beginning of my commercial patterns. For those who are new to the channel, the pattern in focus is every quarter I switch out the commercial pattern company that I will focus on. So you know, your Simplicity, McCall's, Nomi, Vogue, those pattern lines. And so that's what we're doing, and we are focusing on this quarter Simplicity. So once again, head on over to the community tab and then vote on the next selection. Okay, so this one is relatively easy to talk about. The instructions, like I say, a lot of hand holding with this, which I thought, oh, and it's high level hand holding. So it's not detailed, but it is more detail that I normally see in commercial patterns, if that makes sense. So if you ever work with the Simplicity, any of the pattern hacking Simplicity patterns, let me know in the comments if you thought the same. Is informational for sure. So definitely no fault in that at all. Now, I will say, I'm just going to address the instructions out the gate. There was nothing complicated about this. So at all, nothing at all complicated about it. I did not look up, because I was working on a couple different projects at once. You all know, typically I do like to, if I don't see a sew along out there, to do a sew along for the subscriber pick. Actually, this is one of those. This is Vogue. I want to say it's 1937. I did a this was a subscriber pick from last year, and I did a full sew along on this. And so I'll make sure that that pops up in the iCard and also at the end of this video. So that's what I typically like to do. But because I was working on like 2 or 3 things, kind of different stuff going on at the same time, I didn't have time to stop and do a sew along for this, which would have been really easy to do. I just finished, if you saw my previous video, you know I just did my upcycle and I recorded that whole thing, and that was a long process. But anyway, so yeah, I didn't get a chance to do a sew along for this one, so apologies for that. Let me just tell you out the gate for sizing. I chose the size extra large to cut out, and I'm going to get into this fabric because I did have to make some, you know, quick thinking adjustments on this fabric. But if you all recognize this, definitely let me know if you recognize this fabric that I use. But anyway, so far as sizing, I thought this was a really good pattern size. Oh, hold on, let me grab the pattern. I see it. Okay, so, oh, I'm sorry, this is Simplicity 8888. I don't know why I kept saying 8889, but 8888 Simplicity pattern, hacking pattern. I decided to do the hack where it's just a jewel, they call it a jewel neck and a cap sleeve. That's the I guess hack number 4 I decided to do, and I did it at the shorter length. I thought the fabric that I had, I could do the full length. That's what I wanted, but I only had enough to do a couple inches below my knee. And so the pattern envelope comes in an extra small up to an XXL. And so the XXL is, it's not all that size inclusive, I wouldn't say. It goes up to a decent size, but not size inclusive if you're outside these measurements. It goes up to a waist of 40, I'm sorry, a bust of 48, a waist of, what is that? It says 41.5, but I don't know. I'm a little iffy on that because, you guys, my waist is a 40, full bust is 45, and my hip, not counting the fullest part of my belly, is 52. And it says the waist is 41.5, and these are body measurements, and then the hip is 50. You would have thought, based on that I would have cut out the largest size. But I didn't. I went down to a size extra large, which is a bust of 44 to 46, waist of 37 to 39, and a hip of 46 to 48. And so it's a lot. I don't know. It's a lot of ease in the pattern. As a matter of fact, it looked like they only give you the finished garment measurement for the bust on the envelope. And for the size that I cut out, the bust is a 49. Which makes sense, the finished garment measurement, and I'm 45, so that's about 4 inches of ease. And the same, well, the largest size is a finished garment measurement full bust of 53. So depending on your measurements, you may fit into this, but again, it's one of those where it's like, you know, can you call it size inclusive? Maybe. But it just all depends. And as you can tell, based on my measurements, I did have to go down a size for this particular pattern. Now, as I was going through the instructions, there again, like I say, it is really super easy. Pattern piece 1 and 4, you have to tape those pieces together if you want the fullest length. And I did that thinking I had enough fabric, but I didn't. So I had to go with the midi length on this version. I did not do the pockets at all on this, and it's because of the fabric that I chose. And again, we're gonna get into that here in just a second. And let's see, I did not, this pattern does call for, because this is made for wovens. This pattern is made for wovens. So this pattern does call for a zipper to go in the back. I didn't do that, and I probably should have, but I didn't. And yeah, I'll tell you why, because you know, I got a big head, and this neckline barely got over my head, but I did go down on the seam allowance in the back seam down to a 3/8 inch instead of a 5/8 inch. And here's the reason why. Let's get into this fabric. So if you all recall, I don't know if you all remember, but remember I got the mystery box from Nick of Time Fabrics, the denim mystery box, and with it came 15 yards of like fabric you didn't know that you were gonna, you know, other fabric outside of the denim, 15 extra just regular fabric. And so, you know, some of those pieces I gave away, and then the other couple pieces I kept. And so one of them was, and this is all I got left, like literally scraps, but it was this, I don't know, I mean, it's a pretty color. It's definitely a pretty color, but some kind of, I wouldn't call this lace. Help me out, what would you call this? I don't think it's an embroidery on glaze either. I don't know what you would call this. And when you get the mystery box, it didn't have a tag or anything on you to tell you what in it, to tell you what it was. But then remember, I also received this, which feels like tricot, but not as stretchy. So there's a little, there is some stretch, there is some, but not as stretchy as a tricot. And amazingly, you guys, why did I have matching fabric? I mean, matching thread. Look at that. I mean, the thread is like perfect. I know why I had it. So one day, this is like sidebar, I highly suggest you do this if you're a person that you like your thread to match your fabric. So one day I sat in my sewing space, in my sewing room with all my fabric, looked at it, went onto Wall Wack, had the Wall Wack open, and I actually picked a bunch of threads that I thought matched all of my fabric in my stash. I have ordered a whole bunch of thread, and plus Wall Wack, their pricing per spool is so much cheaper than going to Joann's. Much more cost effective, and my machine particularly likes Gutermann thread. And so I bought this because I thought the color that I chose matched a kiwi color fabric that I had, and it didn't. So I was like, I remember thinking, oh, what I'm gonna do with this? It came in handy because it matched perfect. I mean, it just goes perfect with this. So but the fabric from the main fabric, this is, it has a little bit of stretch, not a whole, what might you call this, mechanical stretch, not a whole ton. And so I was like, okay, I'm good. I'm just, when I did consider, when I did the back seam and said no, because I was going to put the zipper in, but I was like, nah, I'll just do a smaller seam allowance. So it was a bit of a struggle getting it over this big old head, but it worked, right? Another thing that I had decided to do, and the reason I chose those fabrics, one, you all know I wanted to use that fabric, and I had a couple different ideas for it, but when this came up, I was like, why don't I just interline it? And that's exactly what I did. I just interlined the fabric, the main fabric, with that, again, I don't know what it was, kind of tricot type fabric, but not as much stretch underneath. So what I did, I cut out the main pieces first out of the main fabric, and then I cut out all the pieces again in that tricot type fabric, and I just sewed them, basted them together around the perimeter. And then when I constructed it, I just stitched as normal together and used my serger. I'll turn it inside out so you can see. And so that's what I did, and it worked. The fit, I think, I like that there's still enough room in it. Again, I did want it to be a little longer, but you know, I only could go with the fabric that I had, right? And the sleeves, I will say, and I'll have pictures pop up too in video, I did not finish off the hem of the sleeve. Again, I didn't think a hem, I don't know, I just didn't think a hem was necessary on that type of sleeve because of the fabric. But it's a simple sew. Now one thing, I'm gonna turn this inside out, but one thing, actually I'll turn it inside out while I'm talking. One thing, I chose this jewelry because it's colorful, different colors, for a couple reasons. This dress is missing something. I think the color is very nice. You know, the way I did style it and everything was fine, but it just looks awfully plain to me. And I don't know if it's maybe, I think for sure what the issue is that I need more jewelry. I need more accessory for this piece. More bracelets, maybe stacking. The necklace I think is fine, but I think I need stacking of more bracelets. Maybe not the most popular idea, but I could totally see me putting a belt on, but not any belt. And the type of belt I'm going to describe, I don't own. So I was like, okay, I probably need to buy one. A chain link type belt that maybe the chain can go over to the side, you know, the long piece can hang to the side or the back, something like that. I think that's what it needs. I think it needs more accessories, because all in one color, while beautiful and I think looks good against my skin, it just looks a little blob. it just, I feel like it just needs something else. And you all know I love costume jewelry, right? And so that's what I'm thinking. But here's the inside. Let me know what you think down in the comments. So here's the inside of it. As you can tell, I serged. Once I stitched, like I said, I serged. I had to measure the neckband, because what I did was use the selvage edge of the main fabric to make a neckband piece. And I do what I normally do, but for those who are new to the channel, I've shared this many a times. I have this curve ruler. This is by Stitch Buzz. Absolutely love this. Always use this for when measuring around the arm side or measuring a neckline that I need to add binding to, that doesn't come with binding. I use this, and it starts at 12, it goes all the way up to 12 inches. And so yeah, so when I measured it, what was it, because I did a 1-for-1, because this is not a stretch. Typically I would, whatever the neckband or the neck circumference is that I measure, I would, you know, take off probably about 20% of that and then use that measurement to create my neckband. This time I did a 1-for-1, and I feel like all the way around was 18 inches. So I cut out, I think it was 18 and a half, because I know I sewed it at a 1/2 inch seam allowance. And then and I knew once I added it that, you know, I wanted it to be a clean finish. So that's what I did there. But I just wanted to show you inside, all serged. And I did the thread here, you would think matched. It blends in, doesn't it? It's just it's an off-white, like a pearl color serging thread that I use. And so yeah, and then the hem. Let me show you the hem. This worked out beautifully. I just turned it under. Let me see if it can focus. Yeah, I just turned it under. I serged all the way around the bottom of the hem, and I just turned it up. I think that's about 1 inch, and stitched it down. And of course, again, because that thread matched so beautifully, you can't tell. Now, one thing, you can't see me, but I can see you. I can see you. So the other thing about this dress is I need to wear a slip up under it. I have to wear a slip up underneath it. I don't have a full body slip. I think maybe I should make one. Or that might be one of those things where I was gonna say buy one. I don't know. I might make one. I don't know. I'm on the fence on that. Because the thing is, half slips, meaning from the waist down, I wear those all the time. I don't mind those. But full body slips, I don't own one. I don't think I've ever owned one. And so dresses like this, even though I interlining thinking I was combating the whole see through the fabric situation, I didn't. I think I could use a flesh tone. You know what? I might just make one. And so I can get something as close to my skin tone as I possibly can find. And just make myself one. I'm gonna have to dig through my patterns and see, because I got something that, you know, you can just extend you know, what am I trying to say, skinny strap top cami into a dress, right? Make all the necessary adjustments to make it into a dress. I can do that. And you know what, I probably will do that. And the only hesitation I was having, let's get Lady Dane back up here. The only hesitation I was having about making it is because I wouldn't wear it. Only probably when I wear this. And so that's why I was like, maybe I'll just buy it. Because I don't, you know, I don't know. I'm on the fence. I'll let you guys know. I'll let you know if I decide to make it or buy it. I'm sure Lane Bryant, Eloquy, or somebody has something just simple that I can wear up underneath this. And like I said, I wouldn't wear it often. So in my mind, it makes more sense for me just to go buy one. But you all know I enjoy sewing. I really do. And but that might not be something I want to sit and make. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, so let me know what you think. I think, again, for all of the votes on this one, make sure, again, you head on over to the community tab and vote on August pattern pick. But yeah, I think it just needs something. I don't know. I like how it brings it in on the waist, on the sides. You saw pictures and video, but I'm thinking this center front piece, I don't know. I need more accessories on this one. I do. I need more accessories on this one. And so I do, again, I highly recommend, you know, the princess seams and everything in this, the side gathering on the side. I like it. I do like it. I do like it. And would I make this again? I would, but I think I just would want it longer too. And that could be the other thing that I struggle with this, because I feel like it needs to be longer, like ankle length with slits on the side. And so we'll see. We'll see. But I am going to definitely need a full slip, and I need some more accessories to go with her, for at least my personal preference. So you all let me know down in the comments what you think. If you did not see my previous video, my upcycle, go check that out. Show her some love. Give some thumbs up. Don't forget to thumbs up this video. I greatly appreciate it. And if you have not subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe. And tune in August. Woo! It's sewing buzz time, you guys. So stay tuned for what I have coming and to talk about in the sewing buzz. I don't think it's a ton, but we shall see. All right, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in today. You all have a blessed rest of your week, and we'll see you on Sunday. Bye.